heard a lot of screaming, some slurring of words. When we got out, just people kind of running around, and it was just terrible. Just a lot of very chaotic.
Witnesses described the scene in La Jolla as a gunman opens fire at a house party. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Steve Price.
And I'm Marcella Lee. Alicia has the night off. A woman is dead. 3 others are injured following the shooting early this morning. Officers spent hours investigating outside of a home in the 7500 block of Cuvier Street. Tonight they are still searching for suspects.
News 8's Brandon Lewis live now at Scripps Memorial, where some of those victims are being treated. Brandon?
Stephen, Marcella, 2 of the victims were brought here to Scripps. The others scattered to other hospitals across San Diego. Doctors stabilized 3 of them. Tonight, 1 of them is still in serious condition. A 4th was pronounced dead. San Diego police laid out the dragnet for the person who shot 4 people in La Jolla, killing a 20-year-old woman.
I thought it sounded like gunshots. Rat-tat-tat-tat.
It was hectic. We heard the screaming. It sounded like there were some people who were intoxicated.
Investigators say the person opened fire at a crowd of young people who were at a house party.
3 shots, a little rest, and then 2 more from what my girlfriend can account and tell me.
Blake was walking his dog minutes before the gunfire started.
There was like over 100 kids running around. Some of them had their shirts off. They were all pretty incoherent, and they were trying to tell me this wasn't my dog.
Soon after he got home, other neighbors heard a light-colored car screeching outside.
As the car was accelerating, I heard like maybe 6 gunshots.
There was a woman on the ground. We thought, actually, we couldn't tell at the time it was a woman or man, and it looked like there were other injured parties in the area. So called the police, and obviously they came to the scene pretty quickly.
The woman was pronounced dead at an area hospital. Medics also rushed a 23-year-old man with a gunshot wound to his upper body to the emergency room. He was stabilized but remains in serious condition. Soon after, 2 other 19-year-old men arrived at different hospitals with gunshot wounds to their upper bodies. Doctors stabilized them, but their condition remains unknown. Meanwhile, at the scene, investigators turned to interviewing witnesses and collecting evidence. Daylight showed the 7500 block of Cuvier Street littered with beer cans and bottles.
So coming to a place like La Jolla, it's just not, something that you'd think would ever happen. This is something that might have happened in the alleyway at my girlfriend's old place in OB, but not here. So, but it can happen anywhere.
Tonight, police are still searching for the suspects. There is no usable description of them, only that they were last seen driving a light-colored sedan. If you have any information that can help investigators, you can contact the homicide unit at SDPD or by calling Crime Stoppers.